Welcome gamers to Railroad Corporation 2. My name is Daz Tactic, welcome to the channel, and this one-off video will just really go through what Railroad Corporation brings to the railroad genre of games, which there are quite a few different games in this one. I'll just say right off the bat, it's got a lot of content in it, or a lot of things in it that I really love the individual components in the game, but I must say that I do find that the sum of those components are less than the total of those components, if that makes sort of sense. Like, well, the sum of the components is less than what I'd expect, which is sort of funny because quite often you find that games will be the sum of the parts will be actually the experience will be better than the sum of the parts. In this case, I'm finding that the experience is less than the sum of the parts, which is unusual. And I don't know, I can't put my finger on what it is about it that I don't really like, because when I start thinking about the things that I like in these sort of games, it's all in here. It just doesn't gel well for me, and I don't know why. But look, it's a game that I like. I just don't love it. So let's go in and get playing, and I'll just sort of show you what it does bring. There is actually multiplayer, which is in beta at this stage, and I'll just show you these so you can sort of see the area. Now, this is interesting because you can't do the same sort of thing against an AI player. You can. If I just go and actually go to create lobby, you'll see that you've got all sorts of different things where you've got like a cooperative fund with where you've got a mutual fund. You've got a cooperative for 2 to 4 players. So an amalgamation of prosperity. God, I'm tongue-tied today. Then you've got a few versus maps as well. So you've got like versus, so the nature of competition back and through here. You've got versus 2 to 4 with winter games. And then you've got like another one versus for 2 to 4 players with extended winter games. So I can't actually change any of these to a AI player. And there's some of these things I wish I could actually do in the base game, like in the single player game. It'd be really pretty cool to be able to actually bring in another player, for example, on the actual map itself. So for example, I've got like this one here, nature of competition. This is a 2 to 4 player, the first of the versus ones. And if I have a bit of a look at this one, you can see the scenario to begin: natural resource reserves abundant, back and through there, large nature, large map, autumn in nature. That's going to be the sort of like the biomes or the terrain. If I go to generate map, I can then put my own slant on everything, which I quite like. And so I'll just show you this because I can actually then sort of tweak things out. If I go to competitive mode, back into here, so which is sort of what we want. So the new game is then sort of thrown away while we do the competitive mode. We end up having, and this will give you a bit of context about what the game does actually have, because it's got a lot of stuff in it. So we've got the different natures. We've got autumn and winter, and these are just, as I said before, sort of like a biome, more of a graphical side of things more than anything else. So I'll just leave it on autumn for now. The terrain types go from lakes to large lakes to rivers to lakes and rivers. I'll show you what these actually do in a minute. The map size, you've got like different sizes in through here, 4x4, 5x5 and 6x6. So you've got sort of like different sorts of scale of maps you can then go and play on. Random seed, of course. And now the one thing that's interesting, when you do generate a map, it doesn't then go to a new random seed. It keeps that generation going, which is actually interesting. You just got to keep on sort of clicking on that one there to get it to go and do something different. You do actually then have, these are the raw materials, and also they're extended finished commodities that sort of then come out of it. So for example, wheat will then lead to a mill which has got flour, which will lead to a bakery, and so on and so forth. So you end up getting like a bigger and bigger resource chain required in the actual on the map itself, and you then have to bring all the component pieces together. And again, the idea of that is what you'd expect, and it's actually done quite well. It just doesn't feel like it's done well, and I don't know why. I really can't put my finger on what it actually is. And again, all of these different things will actually have like different sorts of ways of extending on what they actually then do bring. And you've got a choice when you're up. This is a multiplayer game, but I can actually go and just have it so we've only got like one resource, for example. Like if I just go and have just logs, so if we're only going to have like lumber, and what we'll do is we'll typically only sort of see the first 2 or 3 commodity chains that will then sort of come through with this particular one. And like for example, I think food goes from like as you sort of start to bring grain and food into it, will ultimately end up with canneries and stuff, all sorts of different stuff. So there's a whole lot of different things that are either in the game yet now or are on the way. There's a lot of content still coming, so look out for it. Over through here, you've got the scenario begin options. So these are your objectives to sort of essentially, win the game. So you've got like gain profit on raw materials, gain profit on semi-finished commodities, on finished commodities. You also have passengers and mail, which I'll talk about. But you can, for example, you can actually have those as two of the objectives for your actual game itself. Natural resource reserves, you've got sort of scarce and moderate. Back up the top through here, you've got your initial capital. 2 million is the default for the game, and then you've got the transport license objective. In this case, this is like a medium license cost is what you then have to actually operate your railroad. So you've got those through there. You've got your lobby type, private, friends, or public. So I'll just keep it on private for now because I just want to sort of show what this thing will then go and do. If I just go and generate a map, what we'll sort of see there is we've actually got like we've got lumber up through here, which will then lead to doing planks, lead to paper, and then paper will lead to books. So we're seeing sort of like a collection of different things, and then the actual towns, particularly these larger cities, will then actually have a need for books. So they'll be making books over through here, which will then sort of be sent across here. So ultimately on this map, you'd be needing to string together all sorts of different things to chain all these together. And so each of these raw materials have got their own extended commodity chain, which is, again, it's what you expect on these sort of games. The thing I like about this, though, is that you do actually have these random maps. And this is another thing. I wish that there was a way to make the random maps even more difficult to actually sort of then go and operate on. I would prefer to be really struggling a little bit with the with trying to overcome, I guess, the engineering aspects. The engineering aspects seem pretty weak, to be honest, in the game. Maybe missing something there, but I don't think I am. With the and there's just a competitive mode in through here. If I go and change, I'll keep the random seed the same. I'll show you what. So that's lakes. We can go then to large lakes. Now we're seeing tiny little lakes there, a few up in the top, one down in through here. We also have hills. So there's hills in through here, which then also make it difficult for your train tracks to go through. Let's just go and generate now one with large lakes. So essentially the same base map, but now we have large lakes involved. The actual locations now have changed. One thing I don't know, if I do go back to lakes, will it go back to the same positioning? Yes, it has. Okay, that's interesting. So large lakes will then sort of generate like a larger areas in through here. And you can see there the base terrain hasn't really changed at all. It's just the lake position has. Let's now go into... go to rivers and generate. So that these still stay exactly where they are. And now we have rivers that we have to then go and sort of work our way through. And we then actually have rivers and lakes, or lakes and rivers. We generate this one as well. So we end up with like larger areas through here with sort of lakes a little bit bigger through this other side. If I go and refresh the random seed and then just go to generate, so we end up with like much, much larger rivers to try to get across in this instance. So as I generate new random seeds, I can get some really, really interesting maps. And let's just go back to rivers and just generate and see what we end up with there. I'll just go and refresh just to see what sort of other types of layouts we could sort of end up with. I had a really interesting one when I was just testing it before I started recording, where it ended up creating on an island in the middle of the map, which I thought was really, really cool. I would have liked to have been able to show that again. There we go. So we've sort of got like a paper-making island in this instance. So that's actually sort of like just where we've got like one location there. If I go and change that from rivers to lakes and rivers, what will that do? That will possibly change where things are. Yeah, it's now all been pushed outside of the island in that sort of instance. Anyway, there's a lot to like about this aspect of the game. I really do like this a lot. The fact that you can sort of do this. I just wish it was more. Having said that, this one looks fairly cool, like the way it sort of thing is going to work. The trouble is that I cannot bring in an AI player to play against me, so that's actually a bit of an issue. Anyway, let's go back out, and but I really like what this one does. Anyway, let's just go back across, back out again, and we'll then just go into single player. So we have the same sort of deal, but I can't do a versus. I can't actually have another player on the same map competing for the same commodities, and I wish I could. That would be pretty cool if you could do that. I remember there was a game, I think it was Railroad Tycoon, might have even been Railroad Tycoon 2, but it was like from about 20 years ago, and that actually did have competitive AI. number of different players all competing on the same map. It didn't have random maps from what I can remember, and everyone started off in sort of preset locations, I think. But overall, the competitive nature of your railroad really, really resonated with me. And this game doesn't have that. That may be that missing 10th component to the game that I'm missing, that I really wish was in the game. So I'm sort of hoping that they do bring that back in, and with sliders as to how effective the actual other companies will be. It was a very cutthroat, a very robber baron aspect of it in that particular game, which this game doesn't have that. And I think that may be actually what's missing in it for me. Anyway, let's go back in. So got the same sort of generator settings back into here, but we don't actually have another player. We've got like different objectives. Let's just go with, say, 3 objectives in through this other side. I'll keep the defaults to 2 million, so I can just build some things up. Medium license cost, a moderate natural resource reserves, so that will be okay. Let's turn a few of these off. Let's go and turn on iron ore. Let's do an iron ore run. What's this one here? That's clay. So we'll do iron ore. In fact, if you turn them all off, all you're going to be doing is passengers and mail, which is going to be not all that great. Anyway, let's just go and leave one of them on. And if I then just go and generate the map, there's anything else down there? That's all there. Oh, I meant to do. I like this big mountain here. We'll do rivers. Now that's stretching across here. Maybe I won't just do that one. Let's go and do. Let's just try cotton. I haven't tried that one before. Cotton leading to cloth. Should lead to clothes as well. And again, if I just keep on changing the generation. That's interesting. Like you sort of need to get across into different locations. You'd need to figure out which of these areas you do need to be sort of working on. I mean, if you were going to do it a competitive way, you probably have to split the map into halves. That with where you've at least got the similar sorts of materials, but it makes it a bit more difficult. Let's try oil and see what we end up with there. So oil, not seeing any actual basic oil in through that side. Let's turn that one off. Generate with quartz. You're not seeing anything there either. I'm not sure what that it would actually end up being. Coal. Coal has got an interesting one. Like we've got coal up through here. A lot of these will actually be required in the cities. So in this case, you would need to be starting off here with your one coal mine in the map, and then shipping it across into other locations. I won't do that one. I'll do something where there is actually a bit more of a chain going on. So if I go and generate this with logs. So we've got logs up through there and logs down here. We're going to have to cross a river to actually make a good use of this. So let's go and play with this one here. So we'll just go and start the game. The goal is to create a thriving railroad company by building efficient transportation networks between mines, factories and major cities to satisfy their needs. You'll need to take into account the terrain relief, overcome financial obstacles, lobby government officials and make a geological exploration. You'll also need to transport essential goods across multiple routes. Sounds great, doesn't it? It sounds great. Earning enough revenue to cover your initial license fees. The clock is ticking and every delivery counts. It doesn't feel like it though. It just doesn't feel like it's that urgent. Missing your license renewal deadline will lead to a disaster. So I've found that you really can't lose money in this game. It sort of is. That's where it's for me a little bit basic, and I think that's where I sort of wish there was more in this aspect of it somehow. I don't know. Again, when you're competing against other players, it makes it a lot more exciting. I think that may be the component actually that's sort of missing. So this is actually our map. I can sort of zoom out a little bit and have a look and see what we've actually got on the map itself. So we've got some very, very difficult terrain to get across in here. For example, if we tried to cross straight across, the best would be to move around the outside edge. Now we've only got the one location. You can see there we've got a couple of paper making locations down this side. We've got a plank making location there, like a lumber mill that side. And the one source of actual logging is back over here. So we're going to need to get across the river and we're going to need to then sort of try to make the different locations make sense. Now we don't have to just stick with logging. If I go into Whiskey Bend, into Whiskey Bend, they have a whole lot of different things that they want. So they do actually have some people at Whiskey Bend who want to travel, so that they want to go off to other locations. They also want people to come and visit them. So this is actually the passengers. They're also going to be generating some mail, and they want to be receiving mail. They want to get logs natively, so I can actually just set this one up. They want to get planks natively. They want paper, and they want books. So this one wants a bit of everything. Some of the smaller locations will not need that, like this one here at Silverbolt. All they actually have is they do actually have a need for some logs, but they generate logs themselves. This is the one location that generates logs on the map. If we have a bit more of a look around at the different other sort of cities and things down through this other side, this one here, all it really does is just generate passengers, but it wants to get passengers, doesn't want mail. Let's find a big city. The one there looks pretty big. In this case, again, passengers and mail is what it generates, and it wants to get a bit of everything really in through there as well. Is it the biggest? We also have logging over this other side as well. So we've got 2 logging areas. Again, it's going to be about the same as what we have with the other one. We've got Sagebrush Flats. This is interesting. We've got a polygraph factory in here. So the factory actually is wanting the paper and the books. This will actually generate the books. So ultimately we'd need to be getting the books out from there. This looks like a big city. Yeah, this one here actually does require, again, a bit of everything, and generates a good number of passengers. So that's probably our biggest city, I think. Maybe Coyote Ridge. Yeah, it's big as well. So anyway, we've got these different cities that we're going to have to sort of start to make use of. But I think initially we want to be sort of starting with Silverholt and then moving our way through. I'll just quickly go through the steps of creating things. We also then have objectives, like we chose that we have to have 3. So we need to earn, this is sort of like the objectives of the game. Earn 1.5 million on wood transportation, earn 3.6 million on paper transportation, and 2.9 million on lumber transportation. So I could have actually added more to actually have as objectives for what we have to then go and do with our actual game. Now, certain locations will actually pay more for things. Like if we have a look at the logs in through here, the price here is 10,000 for a shipment of logs. If we go back to the this one into here, we'll see what they've got, because this one does look interesting. So their logs, actually, there's still 10,000 there. But over time, this one should ultimately, actually, is that even more? Yeah, this one's going to pay more. The lumber mill needs it urgently. The town also wants it, but the lumber mill needs it. So they'll pay more, 11,400. So you do sort of have like an economy that sort of then does work. And also, if we have a look at the paper mills down here and see what they would charge for the logs. In this case, they're going to be paying 10,000 there and 11,400 there. That'll be the same down that way. Then the books are going to be wanting to get paper. And what will they pay for paper? They will pay 43,000 for paper. So you can very quickly sort of get like a chain going when then you sell those books back to another city. Let's just say it's, do they want books? Yeah, they want books. They want a lot of books. So this one here, they'll pay 61,000 for the books. So that's sort of where we end up with sort of like the chain in just that one commodity. If you're playing with them all on, you're going to have a mountain of different things you can do, which I actually prefer just playing with one commodity, to be honest. I find it more enjoyable in the game for me to play it that way. Now, we're going to be wanting to get across the river at some point. So we might sort of start off, we could start off in here with our office, because Whiskey Bend is a fairly big location. We do have industry land in here as well. And so we can do different things here. We can buy this for 30,000 and we can then go and build things in here. Like we could, for example, go and build our own lumber mill and actually start off by generating income. You only really get those in largish areas. So in that one there, in the industry paper mill, it would actually be good as well. So I can either do either one of these and actually upgrade my own supply of different things. That one might be worth doing just to sort of show more scope in the game. I'll probably play maybe up to an hour just so that you get a bit of a feel for what the game is like. You can see there we've got within this commodity area, and if we're only playing with the one commodity turned on, we do have a chemical plant as well. This one relies on electricity, so you do actually have to research as well. There's a whole other. I'll get into. I won't show much of it, but I will actually show you how it does work. So that would be pretty cool to go and get at that location. What else do we have? We've got social as well, like a social land there that we could ultimately buy. Representative office, so provides certain benefits within a city. Bank generates an extra weekly income based on the population of the town. A church, a bakery, shop with bakery, a bookstore. So this one actually stimulates the consumption of books in a city. Hardware shop, consumption of tools. So you can sort of think back to the iron and stuff like that we saw there before. Home goods, pottery, liquor store, science university. Provide a level 3 scientist. Geology Institute will provide at least one level 3 geologist. These are all different employees you can actually ultimately get. School of Finance, School of Law. So you've got lobbyists, you've got financiers. Trading Academy will provide a trader as well. So a lot of these are actually to supplement your own industry. So we might as well start off with our office, I think, in Whiskey Bend. That sort of makes sense to me, I think. So, but we'll have a quick look around again. If we just zoom out, well, actually, if I go to the list of cities, list of cities on the map, we then sort of get an idea of how big they actually are from in here. So Coyote Ridge is large. What about Whiskey Bend? Whiskey Bend is medium. So there is Stonecrest and Coyote Ridge are two large cities. So Coyote Ridge is back in through here. And again, they've got social land and industry land. I still think the medium one is actually going to be okay. It'll be more expensive to get it set up in these large ones, in these large locations. Let's just go back in again and select a town for your office. So the big ones will then cost me more. But Whiskey Bend, $590,000 to just get established. If I start off in one of the smaller ones, it's just going to cost me a little bit less. In this case, I think we'll start off in Whiskey Bend as our actual starting location for our office. This is step one in the game, is to actually get your home territory done. So we'll just go into Whiskey Bend and establish an office here. So it's going to cost me, the population is 146,000. It's going to cost me 500,000 plus 90,000. This is a construction tax charged in the city. So these other ones cost a lot more to establish yourself, but you then got the bigger population to then sort of supplement what you're doing. So we'll establish our office here. And so there we are in the middle there, golden lines. So that's actually our actual group. And so we're not going to have a real good look at the staff in through here, but we can actually go and build research departments. Allows the company to construct various researchers to improve existing locomotives or develop brand new ones. So we can sort of then get a better rail stock that's sort of done through that way. Financial department to get, actually I'll just pause. Just keep it paused because otherwise we're going to be sort of spending money while I explain things. Lobbying department. So lobbying department allows the company to lobby laws in settlements to benefit the company. Geology allows the company to obtain land rights, explore land plots and various resources and establish new settlements in case something is discovered. And then a trading department down through here to negotiate discounts for certain types of goods. So we can sort of establish different things that way. But we'll establish our city in here and our office in here. Now what that then does is it means that we can then go and get the industry land for a bit cheaper usually, I think, or at least the other bits and pieces. I forget what they were. So I will actually go and buy the industrial land here. So we'll just go and I'll start off this way. I probably should have done a few other little things, but let's go and purchase that. So we've now got the industry land on this side. And what we'll do is we'll go and make this into I think we'll just make it into a lumber mill and just go from that one through there. So construction costs are going to be another $589,000 with construction city tax. See how the city tax is now less because we actually are in the city. It's now part of our city. So we'll just go back to construct. This is what I mean. Like the game sort of feels like it should be competitive against other players. I think that might be the one thing that's missing in it for me, really, is just that it's you against the world rather than it's player versus environment rather than player versus player. So let's just go and construct this particular one. Yep, so we've got, like this, we've got high construction costs. This is cheaper for us to go and build. And we do actually have, just looking at, I think there's a bigger need for lumber than there is for than for paper. So let's just go into lumber. Just go and construct that one through there. So for every three logs that we bring in, we'll then generate 2 more lumber in through this other side. The upkeep is going to cost us a little bit, so we're going to need to then sell on what we actually end up generating through here. So just go and confirm that. So in this case, it's looking for 45 logs, so it's now has a need in here. I don't know if I can do anything else in that particular one. So this is actually, we can sell it in the town. So they sell this commodity to a local industry or to citizens via City Hall, or consumption buy in the town. So we can buy this commodity from a local industry if we needed to, but we should be able to just bring that in ourselves and then actually up sort of grade everything in through here. We can sort of corner the market really on logs, I believe. So this one should then mean that we end up being able to generate lumber cheaper than anywhere else. Now we're starting off, this one starts off in the hills. So we actually have a bit of an interesting one here in the logging camp. So we need to get a train station in here, but I'm going to be needing to cross the river. I'm thinking if I cross it sort of on the diagonal, that probably would be the better way to go. And if I do it from out over here, what else do we have down this other side? We've got Ashford, which is not really anything worth going to. It's going to be a little bit hard to get into. Actually, we have a lot of problems in here with the with this rough terrain in this other side. Oh, it's pretty flat. It's not super tall. Yeah, no, we should still be okay here, there, I think. Okay, well, let's actually just go and get established with what we need to do first. So let's leave the real estate alone. Staff will come back and talk about reports. We'll talk about contracts. We actually have different things which we can sort of see sort of over here, but also we have actual contracts where we'll get paid a lot more to do certain things. Now, none of these are close to where we are, so we're not going to worry about those. Okay, list of cities I'm not going to worry about. List of stations owned by your company. Now, we need to establish stations where we want to then go and do what we're going to be doing. So let's just go and initially start with a build new. And you can see down through there, we've just got to have some part of this inside that blue city area. So just need that to sort of be in through this other side. And if I press Control and then roll the mouse, I can then sort of have this one generate in around this other side. So let's just go and have it so that it sort of positions itself a little bit that way. I think that will then sort of just that will even things up a little bit. And if you just put it on this outside corner, I can actually pay to get rid of stuff in the town, but I'm not going to worry about doing that. I don't need to. So I'm just going to go across here now. So that's railroad station number 1. And then we're just going to establish our logging camp up through this other side as well. Now, ideally, we're just going to be placing this on either side of the location. We do actually have the logging field in here. I can buy this for 308,000 as well, if I wanted to. I've only got 695,000 left, so I don't think I will at this stage. We'll actually pay for that. So we'll because it's actually cheaper than other things. And so we'll just go back into here again. So this is now real estate we're not dealing with. We'll just go back to the list of stations. And we're going to build a new station in here as well. So I'm just going to go to build new. And I'll just rotate that one around just so that the actual building is closer to the town itself. And I'll just leave it sort of on the edge of town so I can sort of build it just here. That way I don't need it to be any closer into town at all. Actually, that's fine. Let's just go and build that one there. So that is now got a station from there down to here, so it's pretty close. And we'll now just go and build the tracks. So I can now just go and add a track, so increases space for... Oh, hang on, no, we don't want to do that. Adding tracks means that you've got more tracks coming into the location. We may eventually want to have multiple tracks here, but even that we may not want to do. So we'll see how we go. It just means that you can have like more trains leaving from a major station than not. So we're going to close that one down, and then we can just add the tracks in through here, railroad construction. And I'm just going to start in through here and then just build my track. And if I just go back across, you can sort of click and then have it go into different locations. And so in this case there, you can sort of see that the 240 all the way through means that it can travel pretty quickly without any real problems in through that other side. 45,000 isn't going to cost me a hell of a lot to go and do that one. So we'll just go and get that one established. So that's now been done. We've automatically get the station, the train built. It's just a little gentle slope. And I can now start to deal with this one. Let's have a look and see where else we'd like to. Well, we've got Shadowbrook just over here. We've got 500,000 still left over. We could also set up like a train that actually at least just goes across into here as well and sort of sells our goods at this location, which they'll end up paying more for the actual, for getting the actual logs, for getting the timber. We also have passengers we can then sort of bring back and forwards from Shadowbrook across to Whiskey Bend. Let's have a bit of a look and see what would happen if we actually did that one. If we got a new track and actually moved it from here, you can see there when we cross over the into this location, it then becomes a bit more expensive, like 100 and something thousand. If we go to there, it's only like 10,000. But as soon as I start to go across the river, so it's 95,000 to get to there. If I go this angle, I'm already up to 100,000. What else do we have? Okay, Ravenscliff is actually not too bad. Just 149,000 to essentially get to there. So we can go straight through there, and that's 153,000 essentially to get up to Shadowbrook. This is actually something where we probably want to get across and then actually split the line to go down into both of those different locations. And it may be that we actually end up with a big loop that sort of then goes in around between those two. So I don't actually have to I can even just leave that one there and ultimately just get some money and then just build a loop in through here and then ultimately build this station to come back in and then join up with that particular one. And maybe we then make it a 2-track wide loop between Raven Pass and Shadowbrook and then dealing back with Whiskey Bend. Who knows? It can be, anything can happen. Again, it's sort of, there's no real urgency in the game, and I think that's sort of where the game lacks for me. I've been trying to really try to get my head around what it is about the game that is just feels like it's missing. Because it's got a lot of good stuff in it. A lot of stuff that when I saw it, I thought, oh wow, this looks awesome. But then the more I sort of was playing it, the more I was thinking, it just doesn't, something missing from it. And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe I'd be interested in sort of reading comments from people actually who think that they might know what it is, because it sort of ticks all the boxes. It just the sum of the parts just don't actually add up to as great an experience as I would have thought. Anyway, let's continue on. So we've got our track now laid. At this point, we need to have one of the stations be like a major depot. So I'm going to make this railroad station number 1 down through here going to be the actual major depot. So if I go and click on that one through there, I can add facilities. Now the first one we have to get to be able to buy trains, we need to have a train depot set up. That's 125,000, so we'll go and grab that one. And I can then buy locomotives from that one. But let's go and set up another location in through here, which is the repair shop. So we're going to be needing this one here. 1 locomotive at a time can be maintained. And so I will actually go and build up this one as well at this location, just to repair the trains and also to be able to house them. So that's all we've got. Now can we get any more? No, we can't do any more at this stage. So we've got the 2 facilities. Sorry, just go back into the train station again. There's only level 1. I can actually go and upgrade the actual level of the station as well to then go and sort of make it so that I can only have 1 track in through here. If I go and add tracks, it will then increase the value of the actual station itself and allow me to then build more on there. Now remember, also in the golden lines, I can then still go and build other things there as well. But let's just start here with our train, and then we'll sort of talk a little bit about the economy, I guess. So with the railroad station there, I'm just going to now go and buy a locomotive. And again, I don't have to do it here. I can actually just go straight up into here as well and buy new. But I do need to have a train depot. So buy new. We've got the 080 Memnon, that's the only one we have available. Top speed is only 45 miles per hour. And so we'll go and, so we've got the tech details in through there as well. Again, you can't rotate around. It's a very like low res sort of graphics, and I just wish it was high resolution. Anyway, it's got sort of like different things in through here again with the different sorts of specs, which is good. I really like this. Again, there's so much good stuff in this game. For train buffs and things, I think we'd really get a kick out of this. We're starting off in the mid-1800s, by the way, and then we sort of slowly move up through time. So we've got this one through here. We're going to buy this train, and we then have to add in what it's going to then go and do. Now, there's nothing. This doesn't require anything other than logs, and we don't have logs through here. So we're just going to go into add Silverhole as our actual as our first port of call. We're going to be picking up logs. So as I come back and click on this one, you'll see that the 45 miles per hour is our maximum speed. And as I click on these logs, there's a second one, we're down to 44, down to 36. Now, if I do it another one, 30. So we've now lost a third of our speed, but we're bringing 4 in as opposed to traveling with 2. So I'm still better off just going slow here. So let's go and get 4, even 5. Oh, hang on, we're overloaded by 20 tons. We can't do that. You load more than you unload. That's okay because we're going to be adding another station. So Silver Halt is we're going to be picking up as many logs as we possibly can. And then we're going to come back across and add a station and go to Whiskey Bend and add that station in. And in this case, we're then going to offload to our lumber mill. So we then click over through here. So the lumber mill here is going to be, the price is 11,100 and we have 11,400 because we're an actual industry. And so we're going to go and click on that one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to keep on feeding my own lumber mill at the expense of everything else. And so we're just going to start off in that particular one. That's now got everything. So we're loading 4, offloading 4. I can actually sort of tweak things so that it offloads in other different locations, but let's just go and do that one through there. There's a lot of other different things we can sort of set up in through this other side, but that will then just keep on sort of doing what it's doing. Let's go and save that one. We now actually have an active train line going. So this is actually now the start of the game. At that point, I'll just unpause the game. So it will now move off from this location with nothing on board, and it will move out to the first station and pick up the logs. That's as close as I can get in on the actual train itself, and I can't get any lower than that actual one as well. The camera controls leave a little bit to be desired, and again, it's sort of one of those things where the component pieces are all good in the game, but there's just lacks a little bit of something. I guess people get sick of me sort of saying that one through there. I've got log books and stuff like this as well. There's a lot of stuff to like about this. We've got the color tags, etc. We can sort of do different things. I'll just follow this one in for one turn, and then we'll just keep on going. So they come into here. Now they're refueling. They then load wood. 2, 3, 4, and now they come back a bit heavy with what they're then going to doing. This is actually the maintenance on the train. So it's got a bit of slowness with its maintenance in through that side, and it will now come back into our railroad station back over here. So off she goes. And in reality, like if that's all we end up doing on this line, it's going to be worthwhile. What I'll do is I'll just let it come back in. We'll just have a look at one loop of what the go actually is in through this other side. So it's much slower coming back because of the heavy load of lumber or of timber that it's actually got. And there's our cargo. Paid for fuel, $154. We paid money for the commodities of $16,000. 11 days old. I can speed up time, but it doesn't actually do a lot. Let's just watch this first one come through at the normal speed. And it will then offload. Let's just go back to the route. So we'll sort of see it will then come in, and it will then offload the actual what it actually has. There we go, unloading the wood. And so we're making money from that. It's going to refuel again. for 600. And it's now going back off. Its maintenance hasn't actually hit the 70%. So it's now going back a lot faster again. And at this point in time, if we have a look at the logbook, we can then sort of see transportation value of owned goods, 45,000. So we've actually purchased them for 16, sold them for 45. We can have a look at also at our reports, so we can sort of then go and sort of see what we're then doing in through this other side, balance sheets, etc., with the with what we're actually sort of then generating, profit and loss, etc., etc. So it's actually like there's a lot in here that sort of does sort of show what's going on. Let's go and do some more stuff now with our location. I'd sort of be more inclined to try to now get the we're selling these to the, if I go and click on that one through there, sell in town, or we can actually go and sell. We can set up a rule in through here. I haven't played with this actually. So it sells at City Hall if I have more than 5 in stock. Yeah, let's go and do that. Well, maybe 4. Let's go and change this, or even 3. It's just once we get to 3, well then sort of we've got 1 log in here at this point in time. We're going to need just more to get more of the lumber. So so once we get 3, we can then go and sell the lumber as if we've got it like an overflow. Let's go and change it now so that we end up going further out. And so I'm going to go into the station. Yeah, we've actually now got less money. Let's go back to the golden lines, and we'll go and get a research department. So if I go across into here, so this will then allow me to get scientists, which will then give me better, so we can run easy difficulty research projects, level 2, higher level 2 scientists for medium difficulty. So let's just go and, again, what's this going to cost me? I don't think I'll bother actually. It's a lot of money. So let's not do that one just yet. Again, I really like that this has got all these different things in here as well, which is actually really, really cool. We can get a representative office in another town as well. What's that going to cost me? I can build 1. So I can go across into Shadowbrook or Ravencliff. I'll go to Shadowbrook. You can upgrade this office as well. The upgrade is going to cost me 100,000. Just let these things keep on sort of working their way through. So it's now offloaded, and we've actually got less money in here than what we had before. This is now operating in the lumber mill. So we're picking up the lumber here, and then we need to sort of go and sell it. So I could actually just go and sell it into here for 42,000, which actually would be probably the easiest way for us to make money at this point in time. Let's go to sell in town and just set up, we'll just go and sell 42,000, another 42,000 there. So that's going to then get us back up a little bit in through that other side. So we've made a little bit on lumber, 84,000 at this point in time. So it's a long-term game with what we need to go and do. Let's change the station, and just so that we can sort of play a little bit with this, and I probably would actually be wanting to get up a little bit more profit before we do this one. 25,000 to then make this into a level 2 railroad. So we're just going to upgrade. We now actually have 2 tracks coming in, and so I will actually build another track across to actually then deal with these other towns. So we'll need to buy another locomotive as well, and I'll have to then I'll just pause this for a second while we sort of set this one up. I may not have enough money to do everything that I need to do, but let's go across. We've got repair shop. I can upgrade this one. Only 1 locomotive, but that'll be okay. Should be able to now add a new location, so cheaper maintenance, faster maintenance, cheaper refueling, faster refueling. It's going to take a long time to build these up, so let's not worry about those. So with that, so I can demolish it there as well, like just to reduce the actual level of the track itself. But let's now go across and build another station over here in Shadowbrook, and we're going to be wanting to get a loop coming from in here, I think. So we'll just go back into the list of cities. Actually, it's not going to be that one. List of stations. We're going to build a new one, and so I'm just going to press Control and loop this one around. Let's just go and build one here. That will do probably around there, I think. So we've got a railroad station there now, and we will now just go and build the other track from back in here. So I probably don't need to build this one. I just wanted to sort of show what we can then go and do with this one. We just go and add track. Now we've still got 274,000 here. So railroad station level 2, train tracks 2. We'll just go and do we don't need to do the upgrade. Hang on, building upgrade. Just cancel that. Track. This is what I wanted. I wanted the track here. So I can build this one into, say, here somewhere. And then I can build it across into this other one. Now that sort of keeps the speed going fairly well. That'll do. Confirm, 143,000 to build that bridge. So we're now down to 130,000 to then actually have this one through here. And let's just go and with what we end up having through here, I could actually just end up with the one train doing everything, because for every 3 lumber we make one. For every 3 timber we make 1 lumber. So I could just make use of the same train all the way through to go in, pick it up, and then sort of move it off. In fact, what I might just do is just go back into the lumber mill and just change the that one. I'll just manually sell it when I need to, so I can sort of then go back in and sell it in the town if we still need to. They've got a big need for it, but we'll start to sort of now move that one across. Now we do actually have. Actually, we'll get another train. We'll just go back into the railroad station here. We'll buy a locomotive again, another one of these Memnons. So we'll buy, and we can just start to set up like another location there. So we'll just go back across. So that's there at this stage. We need to go back to the roots. So we're going to go and add in Whiskey Bend. So add Whiskey Bend to start with. And we're going to load a passenger, a mail, and a lumber. And so we're down to 35 kilometres per hour here anyway. So that's now sort of got a bit of everything. And we'll now just set that one across where we add another station to this particular loop. And we're going to be then going across to Shadowbrook. Add that one in through there. And again, we're just going to, at that point, we're going to offload a bit of everything. So we're going to offload the 3 that we actually had. And we're then going to pick up, now what do we need here? I can't zoom in. Can't see the numbers. I think that's 15, that's 11. Let's just go and pick up 1 or 2 passengers there and 1 of these in through this other side. Now what I can do is I can even create like more difficult areas where I can then go back and add Whiskey Bend again, where we maybe pick up like extra people or something like that, and just keep on having like so it doesn't have to just be sort of like back and forwards like what we've set up in through here, but this essentially will be consistently trying to sort of do what it has to then go and do. So let's just go and save that one anyway. You unload more wood than you load. Oh, it's not wood. I wanted it was lumber. Back in here, Whiskey Bend. Oh, it's lumber. We've got the lumber set up there. We need to offload the lumber here. There we go. That's cool. So we actually offload the lumber. It'll tell you you load more than you unload. Oh, we don't. We don't unload. Actually, we need to unload more there. Go back to Whiskey Bend. We're going to unload 2 of those and 1 of those. There we go. It's now all set up. So there's a bit of a loop. We now actually have everything sort of working the way that we want that to work. Let's go and save it, and we can then sort of do like special runs if we need to. Save. Done. So we're down to 121, but this will then be a more profitable location for us to then operate from. So let's just see how we then operate here. So if we just go and unpause. So it's now loading in the lumber, and now it's moving off. And so I will actually just go and watch this one, particularly as it's going to be crossing this beautiful bridge that we've now established for itself. So you can see there we've got passenger, we've got mail, and then we've got the timber at the back there, the lumber. Over the bridge. I was trying at one point to see if you could actually set up crashes, which I really would have liked to have seen as well in the game. I think that would have been good fun, but it doesn't have that, which sort of makes sense. Across the bridge, you have to go slow. 20 is sort of like the limit, but we only go maximum of 35 anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much on this particular bridge. We can ultimately get more. So this will eventually be a more profitable route for us over time, particularly if we can get more powerful locomotives. Just let it sort of do its offload. It's relaxing. It's a relaxing game to play. So we can sort of change the outer line in through there. I'll just leave it off, I think. So you can sort of do your own colour coding. Custom title for your train here, for example. There's a lot you can do. Again, you still got your tech details. You can upgrade it ultimately if you could get a better location. And so in this case, we're then going to make money from the from all these different bits and pieces. So they'll be then sold, and it will then go back. But we could create a big loop, and so we could end up with maybe we need to get like better trains to try to make better use of looping around. Getting the lumber, offloading the lumber, doing things like that. So unload the passengers, unload the mail, which we don't make much money on. We make a lot of money on the timber, on the lumber. So the passengers and mail are really just what to do with the extras that you've got there. And back we go. Okay, so we now sort of start to head back to the other station. And that's where it all is. So let's, as a final little thing, just to sort of show how this then goes and works, we'll just go back to the golden lines. Sorry, just get rid of that. That's the train. Go back to the office. And let's go and build a research department. So if we just go back into here, we'll hang on, it's 180,000. Yep, which we can't afford. Now we've got a lot more lumber here now. Like a lot more. Well, we can actually just make money by clicking on this and selling it to the town. There we go, 274,000 now. So I don't have to go off and do other things. I mean, in fact, I'll probably be able to do better without selling it, to be honest, and then just do other things on the map. I also feel like it would be good if you couldn't build more than, like you had to keep on building onto your existing track and not just build all over the place, which you can do, I think, in the game. Let's go and get a research department, and we'll install this one now. And so this is actually now the upgrade that we can then sort of go through. So we've got we've got different sort of unlocks. So we've got the amendment. We've then got different other bits and pieces we can then start to do ratings on. Now we do need to go and get more office staff. So let's just go and we won't upgrade the department. So what should we do? We've got maximum speed is going to make things go a bit faster. Let's go and do that. So we'll assign scientists. We don't actually have any. So we need to go and hire staff now. So maximum speed, this is an easy one for us to then go and get. We'll just go back out and go back into staff. And so we're looking to get scientists. Now we've got level 2s, level 1s. These ones are going to cost different amounts. So the monthly salary of 2,700 back into that side, 2,800, 1,200. Morgan Sloan, got a few of them in here. If we go to the social area, we could then build like a university and then get even higher level scientists if we needed to. So again, we can sort of support the growth of the city that we start off in. I'll go this way. We'll just hire. Are you the cheapest? Yes, you are. You're on. You're in. Okay, so we'll just go and close that one. Just go back to our research department, and we do actually have this maximum speed. We'll assign the scientists. So you are assigned. So you're now just going to do this one in 28 days. start the research. So he'll now start researching away. I don't know what we need in here. We need 3 scientists in here to be able to then get that one done. Repairability will also is something we can then sort of queue up, I guess. Yeah, I can't actually assign anyone else just yet. All right, we'll just close that one off. But it's this is the aspect I really, really like. Like, there's so much to like about the game. That's why I don't know what the disconnect is for me. It's just something for me that's just not quite gelling, and I don't get it. I don't understand what is not gelling. T1 got a minor malfunction. And again, if we just go back to T1, so T1 has been sort of locked off somewhere. If we just go back to our trains, T1 is this one through here. It's costing me a bit more money. I don't have enough money here, so let's go back in and sell off our lumber. It's nice having this area through here. Sorry, I'll just get rid of that. Click this one here. It's going back off now. We'll sell in town. Just get a bit more money. We're only sort of really shipping one across to the other side. So we're getting 40-odd thousand there. What's the cost? What are they paying over here this time? 43. So we could sell more over here and get more money if we wanted to. But it's not dramatically different just yet. So that will sort of slowly change over time. Yes, we've got the different types of track. Highlights railroad electrification. Highlights the height level of tracks. That's not going to really impact anything at all there. So we'll just leave that one back where that is. Just leave it back on normal. We can also then sort of set up like signalling as well, like semaphore construction with what we're then doing. T1, now just going back into here. So T1 has ended up, what was it? There was a problem there somewhere. Not sure. Settings. Timber Express. So that's the name of that particular grouping now. So Timber Express. This one's just T2. So we can sort of change what we have there. But I think I'll actually leave it here. It's about an hour now that we've sort of been looking at the game. So you get an idea anyway as to what you can then go and do with it. I haven't played this one very economically with what I've been doing, but it's got all the building blocks of being a really, really cool railroad game. And it's still in early access. There's a lot more content coming, I believe. There's new content coming, I think, coming up fairly soon with the food industry. So there'll be even sort of more. And we've only really just looked at one industry in this one. And I do prefer to just keep it down to this sort of stuff. But there's just a lot of flexibility in the game to do whatever you want to be doing. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of content.